Greetings, Wastelanders. Thanks for tuning in to this Gaslands NorCal step-by-step conversion of the X0092 Hot Wheels car. Let's jump right in. First, we disassemble the car. There are several methods in doing this, but I like to use my cordless power drill with a 3/16 drill bit rated for metal. After we separate out all the plastic pieces, I drop the metal body into a vat of citrus strip. I like to use citrus strip because it is non-caustic and can be used in Zors, and I can get a whole slew of cars done before I have to refill the vat. We'll leave the base in the citrus strip for about a few hours before pulling it out and rinsing off the excess goo. Remember to use gloves when dealing with any caustic material. After the base is dried off, it's time to prime. My preferred primer is the Citadel Gray Sear, though I will use other colors if I have a specific plan in mind, which I usually don't. Before I start painting, I like to use a pair of hemostats to hold the cars. The ratchet grip keeps everything in place and makes for a more maneuverable painting. For this build, I want to do a couple of stripes, both in red and white. For the red, I'm going to try out this Army Slaughter Red Speed Paint. I cover more than the area that I want to stripe before taping it off, and this was probably too much. I'm going to do a thin strip of red and a wider strip of white, and when taping, make sure you get the tape adhered to all the lines and nooks and crannies to prevent the next color from bleeding over. For the white, I'm going to use Monument Hobbies Pro-Acrylic Bold Titanium. Again, make sure to have more in the area you want covered to stripe. This was probably a more realistic amount. I'm going to do a thicker stripe for the white and then paint the rest of the vehicle in a Monument Hobbies Coal Black. Okay, full disclosure here, a lot of the underpaint peeled away with the tape on this one, so a lot of after touch-up was required. But now it's time to get it all glued back together. I always swap out my wheels, so no need to keep those. A couple drops of super glue in the rivet holes and a spritz of accelerant because I lack patience. Not looking too bad so far. Now it's time to get some tires, armor, and weapons. I got these tires from Angel of Combustion on Etsy, but I also like to use Dice Mechanic Games, Miniatures 4U GB, Finn's Custom, and We Play Games, just to name a few, all of which can be found on Etsy. I'm going to be adding an armored scoop, rear window armor, passenger armor, and some chains to the driver's side window. But first, what Gaslands vehicle would be worth its salt without some chipping? See what I did there? For this build, I decided to go with ammo MIG chipping because I have yet to master the salt method. Now we get our armor and wheels all set before moving on to weathering. I prefer to use the gel super glue for these pieces. And nothing says carnage like a turreted heavy machine gun, so that's what we're going to go with. On to the rust phase. I want to do some light rust on this one because I think this build is a little early on in their Wastelands life. There's also a monster truck that I'm doing at the same time. I really like to use the Vallejo orange rust for this. After the rust is all dried, I like to dust my builds with pigment. I'm going to be using the old rust over the rusted areas to add more realistic texture and the carbon black near the machine gun to give the effect of excessive distribution of munitions. Then I lightly spritz with industrial Aquanet hairspray to help the pigment set in. Finally, to add some road dust. I like to use Citadel Technical Armageddon Dust as my go-to for this, plus it has a really cool name. And there you have it, one Wastelands converted car ready for a death race. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, and perhaps one day I will get more videos done to actually have some subscribers. Thank you, Gaslands NorCal, signing out.